Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a New Year's Eve mani featuring all OG products. And I'm going to be trying to be using this black glove in my manis where I do gel, just because it helps protect from the UV light and it's better for your skin. These are the two colors that we're going to be using today. And then I'm going to show y'all some of the tools that OG has to offer to help you with your manis. This is a cuticle cleanup tool and a liner brush. They also have the flex file and buffers, and then peel base as well. I'm going to be using as a base because I like to change my manis often, and this helps me to do so. Now, peel base is kind of a hit or a miss. You kind of have to play with it and figure out what works for you. I personally have to do 2 layers of this particular peel base to get the pop off in the time and the way that I would like. Now next I'm going to show you the design that my friend Michelle and I decided to do for New Year's. Yes, she's going to twin with me, and I'm going to throw her picture up here in just a minute so you can see, and then I'm going to throw in my take. So now this is my drawing that I did because obviously when I'm recording, I can't see what I'm doing. I can't refer back to the picture. And I have so much going on when I'm doing my manis that I need to have a reference picture, so I usually draw one. And the pinky is so small because I need to remember this the pinky and not the thumb, and that's just what I do. That's my process sometimes. So now I'm just going to take my base gel and I'm going to apply it very carefully as to not touch my skin. And if I do, I wipe it, I get it off as quick as I can. And then I'll pour over the color and make sure that I clean the cuticle line. And then I also make sure that you'll notice it's a little bit darker, like the gel is kind of seeping through. I pour over again to make sure that all of the, always dropping stuff, to make sure that all of the gel soaks up the color so that it gets nice coverage. You want the gel to soak up as much of the color so that you can get a fuller coverage. I also definitely cure after flash cure it for a second after I'm done with that, just before I do the thumb, just so that I don't mess anything up. And if you see, I'm pulling my skin back with my index finger so that I don't get the sides of my skin with the gel, because you don't want to be touching your skin with the gel, even though I should have worn a glove on the other hand when I'm doing all the pressing down. I should have done that. Anyway, moving right along, we are pouring over. We are going to clean the cuticle line for this. I like to press the flakes down after I clean the cuticle line. With gel products, you do have a little bit more time to work with them, and you definitely want to cure a full cure between layers, which is what I did before all this brushing. Now I'm going to just go in with my second layer, do the same exact thing, but I shook the cupcake liner, as you can see, and there's way more flakes on top, and you'll see when I do this the second dip how many more flakes that I get, because these flakes are just too good to not pick up on this dip. They look purple and pink, but later on you'll see as I'm shifting my finger around, if you pay attention, you'll catch some gold and some green and some blues. It's just a gorgeous chameleon shifting flake. It is just so beautiful. So I had to get more on that second dip, which is gonna show way better when I get to put the base gel and the top coat on, as you will see. So you just want to press the flakes down. You don't want to like smush it, because if you press too hard, then you will smush all the gel around and then it will end up uneven and lumpy and bumpy, and it's just not something that you want. But as you see, I'm using my index finger on my thumb to kind of pull my skin back so that I can get all of the nailscape, exposing more of it. I don't really know how you want to say that. Just exposing more of my nail, my whole nail, without touching my skin. See that green? I know y'all saw it. Now I'm just going to clean up this, wipe off a little bit of the excess around my skin, cure it for 60 seconds, 60 full seconds before I come back and brush it all off. And this is what we're looking like. I know y'all see that change. It is so gorgeous. Now with the color block, I took some base gel. I kind of sped this part up a little bit just because you can't really see that I'm drawing the design. But as soon as I dip it, y'all will see where I've put the base gel, so that I tried to get up a little bit closer so y'all can see. But you will see whenever I dip it where the design is going to be. And the smaller brush just made it easier to get in where I wanted it exactly versus using a big brush, the brush that comes in the bottle. You don't really want to use that because you'll just get it all over your skin and it'll get frustrating. But you see, I got it exactly where I wanted the gel to be. I'm doing a color blocking without using any tape or anything, just because you have all the time in the world to work with gel. So as you'll see, I'll be using one tool that I didn't show in the beginning, along with this brush that I didn't show. This is just a cheap eyeshadow brush that I got off of Amazon. It's just to wipe off the excess because you want to kind of keep it so you can see what you're doing and where you want it. You don't really want to cure stuff where you don't want it to be, so just brush it off the other spots. Now this is the tool that I received in my Creations box. It's like their advent calendar. But this is a silicone tool, double-ended. And as you see, obviously my thumb's in focus and not what I wanted. But I'm making the line straight so that I can get it nice and even. And then I'm using the other end to just pull off any extra flakes that kind of went on the side. I just flash cured that. Now I'm back to do the index finger. Now I'm doing the side of the tip, so I can kind of have it to where it's like opposites, and it actually ends up looking better than I thought it was going to look. Now you see in this picture kind of what I was kind of going for, but you can't see when I'm doing it because it's hard to see clear on clear. But anyways, continuing on, we're pushing the flakes down, we're making sure that we get it in the right place. We're using the silicone tool to just kind of straighten and even the line. And then we're going to cure it for a full 60 seconds because everything deserves a full 60-second cure, so we're not messing anything up. That's why I have the glove on, to kind of keep the light from exposing my skin out as much. But 60 seconds, we're going to come back, we're going to do a second layer, and then I will be right back. So we gave that a 60-second cure, brushed it off, and now we're gonna go in with our pink. I'm not usually a pink, but this pink is so pretty. It's called April 25th, and I just felt like it paired perfectly with the pink that reflects in this flake, and her favorite color is pink, and this flake dip was actually made for her. So I figured why not go with pink versus my normal pick, which would be blue or green. I figured we would do something a little bit different and completely catered towards Michelle because I love her. And I wanted to do this mani pretty much fully for her, but I asked her to do it with me, so it's now an us mani. I just think that this pink just pairs so perfectly with this black flake, so I just totally had to use it. Now, when you're doing the color block, now, since you've already cured your other color, you don't have to worry about the color getting kind of stuck in it. So I pour it over, I clean the cuticle line, and then I'll just use the little eyeshadow brush that we were using and just brush off the color before I cure it. Because you don't want to cure the other color on top of the color that you already did. Otherwise, it will look kind of muted. So you just use the little duster brush and dust off your color, and then it should cure just fine. But I'm just going to do my first layer. I'm going to cure for the full 60 seconds, come back, brush everything off, and then I'm going to get into the second layer. And I'm going to let you guys kind of watch how I do it. It looks a little bit iffy on the pink right now, as you'll see. But after that second layer, there is so much coverage that it is just amazing. 2-dip coverage, and even through the sheerness, because it's still sheer at the end, but 2-dip coverage works and it comes out looking super beautiful. So just hang on, watch this, and I will be right back, y'all. So now we are going back to do our second layer, and I really don't want to talk y'all's head off the whole time just because I know this video ends up being a little bit long, but I wanted to show you that this coverage is amazing on this second layer. It just completely covers it. And yes, of course, here it goes again. I drop something else. It's just a trend with me. I like to think that I work really neat, but it doesn't always work that way. And also when you're doing a gel mani, you're probably wondering, okay, so now I've done the gel, how am I going to file and shape and buff and all that? So when you get to curing all of it, so you do your first layer, you do your second layer, or however many layers you're going to do, you do a final, well, I do a final top of gel base and gel top. I'll wipe it off with isopropyl alcohol, and I will file, shape, and buff, and then I will go back and do a gel base and a gel top after I've done that. So it seems like a lot of layers, and you think it would be kind of thick, but it is not really thick. It kind of keeps it even. So here's where I've brushed everything off. I'm gonna do the gel base and then gel top, and y'all will see how this mani starts to come together. And then I will let y'all watch for a minute, and I'll be back when we get to doing the striping tape. I'm gonna hop off camera real quick, file, shape, and buff, and we are coming right back. Not too much, nicked myself just a little bit, but it happens sometimes. It's not too bad. Cuticle oil will take care of that. Now we are gonna put some striping tape. Now it looks great, but watch this extra that the striping tape gives it. Striping stickers can be used as well. These are the ones from Igel Beauty. I will have them linked below as well as everything else that I'm using. Striping stickers are an excellent alternative to striping tape, but you just watch how much more crisp this makes the lines look and how much more it makes it pop. Now, I left this real time for you guys so you can see that it's not very difficult at all. All I did was file, shape, and buff, and all I did was wipe up my nails off with alcohol after I was done. I haven't added anything sticky. I haven't done anything else. So this is just kind of my process. I'm really nitpicky. I want it to be exactly where I want it, and I just played around a little bit with the index finger because I wanted to make sure it hit the line exactly right. And you can see how it just gives it that extra oomph. It just adds that one special thing to it. I don't know. Striping tape is just my thing. And my friends always joke about doing striping tape in a lot of my manis, especially when I'll do a color block, because I cannot handle the line not being straight. And I'm just not one to always draw or do straight lines. So striping tape for the win to make that line crisp, even if it's not. I just think that it's really easy to use. I do the same method with striping tape as I do with the striping stickers. I get off a piece that's close to the size it needs to be, but a little bit longer. And then I'll take my cuticle nippers and I will kind of angle them to cut the tape or the sticker like the way my angle is shaping. So it's not like a straight line. It's kind of angled with my cuticle. And it's hard to tell, but I cut it just too short of completely overlapping my nail so that when I use my gel base, it'll lock it in and it won't leave it hanging over the edge to peel up quickly. Just a hair too short, but it's not anything that's really noticeable when you're looking at your nails. So that little tiny hairline of a bit that you leave helps the gel base lock it in when you're doing that step right before the top coat so that you can wear it longer. Because I know a lot of people say that they have a hard time keeping striping tape on because it has to go to the edge. Well, if you do that little trick, I promise it will stay on a lot longer than it usually does. Now we're going to add the striping tape to the middle finger because you can't just have one done. And this one went on a little bit easier and I got it a little closer to size. I pretty much got the top part right on as far as size goes. And I just nipped a little bit and I just angled it a little bit at my cuticle line for how it goes and make a little bit of a trim, but it's so close that you can't even tell that it's a hairline up. So just cut that little bit off and look at how good that looks. Now the line is so crisp and it just adds the extra little touch to it and just brings it up another level. Like, so pretty. But now I'm just going to throw some gel base and some gel top, and then I will be back. Doing your thumb, earlier I was doing them all together because I really didn't need it to be a super clean, crisp cure. But when you're doing your nails, you really, really want to make sure that you do your thumb separate so that it cures properly and not lopsided and wonky, because every single time that I try to do a final cure on my thumb and I have it sideways in the lamp, it either doesn't cure right or my gel slides or I bang it on something. So you just want to make sure that you do your 4 fingers, cure them fully, and then come back and do the thumb separately because it just needs its own special time. Yes, it means extra time, but it is so worth it. And now here is our finished look. We are going to finish up with some cuticle oil. Make sure that you cuticle oil your nails because all the alcohol and filing and stuff, your cuticles could use some love too. This is from Scales of a Mermaid. You Make My Heart Flutter. It is a nice cotton candy scent. It's super, super, like, I guess, cotton candy, sweet smelling. And you want to make sure that you're rubbing down to your first knuckle because that's where your nail growth will happen. So make sure you rub down to that first knuckle. Make sure you get underneath your nails because all of it needs some love. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you will consider subscribing. I'm going to throw a video of I went outside so you guys can see the final result. Hope everybody has a very wonderful new year, and I will see y'all in the next video.